Welcome to my studio. Hi, my name is Bob Behounek. I'm a sign designer and sign artist who has worked in and around the Chicago area for some 20 years now. Some of you may know me from the articles I've written in SignCraft Magazine. Actually, I started out as a showcard artist working with water-based tempera paint. This tape is going to explain this medium. During this tape, these are some of the products and materials I'm going to be using. We have a piece of 22 by 28 cardboard, a 3-foot ruler, some stick pins, and a dry chamois. I like to use this squirt bottle. It has clear, cool water in it for thinning my watercolor. Here we have some 77 spray adhesive and Blair clear fixative. These two I'll be using later on to tape. Here I have some gum Arabic. This is for strengthening my Showcard color, to give it a little more toughness. I have a rub clean, soft green eraser, a cup to hold my brushes in after they're drying, some mixing sticks, some non-wax 3-ounce cups, a can with some clear, cool water in it, and a broom to wipe away the eraser. This is my 4-foot by 6-foot Chicago-style Showcard bench. I can work at the top of the card or adjust it so I can work at the bottom of the card, standing up or sitting down. This bench has 7 different working positions. A word of caution to you. Upon buying Showcard brushes, please, I repeat, please, do not buy inexpensive hobby-type brushes and expect professional results. And now, with this size 8, I will demonstrate a medium-sized script. And notice, I'm not pressing very hard. This brush has fine flexibility in the hair. The Langnickel Series 65S is a professional Showcard brush with a blend of quality red sable and ox hair. Notice how I can swing around the thick and thin freestyle strokes. This brush has very good control, flexibility, and holds its edge very well. Now, isn't that a lot of fun? This brush has a well-balanced black handle with gold ferrule. This exceptionally fine quality blend makes it an excellent brush to letter tempera watercolors with. It is easily recognized by its gold band. These moderately priced brushes are available in sizes 1 through 20. Now to put the finishing touches on this quick script. Notice these brushes are full-bodied for maximum paint retention. This is a complete set. Now I'm using a little more pressure to create a thicker stroke. Watch how I can create a thick and thin effect with this brush. Langnickel has developed a new brush called Nocturna for showcard work. It is a blend of black synthetic and natural squirrel hair. This brush has an extremely soft, sharp edge. A must for your showcard collection, recognized by its candy apple red colored handle and a silver tip. Now to put the finishing touches on the word brushes. Watch, I'll start real thin and get thick on the bottom. And here comes the best part with the snap. Great control. And there we have what the Langnickel 65S series can do. This is how I hold my brush. This is a two-finger method. I can control the brush with my two fingers. And my other fingers are tucked under my hand. Holding the brush as upright as I possibly can and allow the paint to flow out of the hair. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to warm up a little bit. It's always good to do this before you do some scripts. Fill my paintbrush up and let it fly. This gives me a good indication of my swing. Gets me to use my arm, my hand together as one unit. I wouldn't recommend doing a project like this before you do every show card. But at the beginning of the day, it's always good to practice just a little bit, just to get the juices flowing. If you look closely and watch my hand and my arm, they're moving together. It's not just my hand. My brush is held pretty much upright. Using the tip, paletting, stroking. On number 660 Oriental Yellow Crescent Cardboard. Won't be long and I'm going to be ready for my first show card. That's it. I'm ready. In order to create quality show cards, it is absolutely necessary to use quality materials. I use Rich Art Tempera poster colors on all my show cards. Shown here are the 2-ounce sizes. And here we see the 8-ounce sizes. All colors are available in the 16-ounce jars and the 32-ounce jars. Totally non-toxic and very opaque, they have the disbursement and smoothness that is indispensable to the sign artist. They are available in 65 brilliant colors plus 12 different fluorescents. There are 8 sign shades which have the fluorescence of a fluorescent color plus the opacity of a poster color. This bright green is 79 sign green. It's very, very vivid. And here we're going into 86 sign violet. This one is really sharp on black. '85 sign magenta. This also can be a real knockout. Here are 5 great shades of blue, the most vivid being 66 sign blue. Number 59, sign cerise, can be a real hot number on a yellow card in the middle of summer. 55 sign red can be a very good complementary color. These reds can be very, very hot. Number 45 sign orange makes great suns. With the help of number 33 sign yellow. I highly recommend Rich Art Poster Tempera colors. Here I'm going to do an alphabet I want to use in this video on one of the knockout cards. This lettering style has many, many different applications. As you can see, this is basically a casual letter with a small serif. You can stylize it almost any way you want to. I find this letter to be very, very clean and easy to do in a minimum amount of strokes. I have about a 15-degree italic. And I'm slightly staggering these letters. Sometimes the serifs can interlock. As you can see, the E is a little bit smaller than the F. That's to make it fit in a tight spot. If you watch closely, the number of strokes that I use on each letter, they're the minimum. And that's basically for speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I kind of like to use the paint a little bit thinner on a letter like this, almost so it falls off the brush. On some knockout cards, they have to be done relatively fast. You can't beat a letter like this to denote action and speed. Again, I'm using the tip of the brush and the tip of the brush only. lot of people call this letter a flood stroke. Watch closely. One, two, three. I'm holding the brush at about a 45-degree angle. Now I'm not turning the brush at all except when I do the serifs. This lettering style you can jam together real tight or space it, double spacing. That was one stroke for the top of the T. 2, 3. I like to use this lettering style on show cards, race cars, or anywhere I have to do a quick alphabet. This brush is a number 6 Langnickel 65S series. Has a real good snap to it for this quick lettering. And here I'm going to use one serif on the upper left-hand side for the X and the W. Two strokes for that letter. There we have the uppercase. Now the lowercase is just a little bit different sometimes. Again, a minimum amount of strokes. This gives the letter a real hand-done appearance. And notice my hand. I'm moving my hand and my arm together, not just my fingers. And a letter like this, I kind of like to stagger as much as I can so it doesn't look boring. Depending on what size brush you use and how hard you push down on it, the lettering can have many different effects. You'll notice when I pull a horizontal stroke, I turn my brush a little bit to the right for the serif. We have to realize a letter like this you wouldn't want to use on a bank window somewhere. This letter here is a letter that is going to be used for a quick card or race car. Using the right letter styles in the proper places is a must. To me, looking at a letter like this denotes speed. In many cases, doing letters like this, you wouldn't really have to clean up the letter on the ends like I've done. As you notice on that U, some of the serifs are straight and some flip back up again like on the bottom. We must remember not to make this letter mechanical. It has to flow very easily out of your brush. Notice the serif on the lower left side of the X. It's a little bit lower. Remember, with watercolor, you can thin a little bit more to get more action. Now some numbers. Again, using minimal brush strokes to achieve a quick effect. Now the 8 coming up has been always one of my favorites. Almost 2 strokes and the whole number is done. Now we'll put this lettering style into action. Depending on the situation and what kind of job it is, you can almost put this lettering style at any degree you'd like. I'm going to italicize the word Chicago a little bit more than I had in the top alphabet and bump the letters together. Notice how I'm holding the brush. Here comes my favorite letter again, old Mr. G. Notice how big I made that O. Gives it a free-formed look. A big S. I'll leave a little more airspace between the S and the T than I did on Chicago. I'm going to sneak a little lowercase e in here on the end to show you that you can do this in some cases. Again, I wouldn't recommend it on a bank window. And there it is. On my first project, I'm going to use this Chicago style lettering. This work order is a 14 by 22 upright card. We're going to break this down to 3 different messages. The first message is going to be what we're going to sell. Flannel shirts, $14.95. The brand name, which is Kodiak, will be number 2. While supply lasts is all our secondary copy, which can go on the bottom of the card. We'll make a quick little sketch. on paper. First of all, we'll have to sustain our border for open space around the card. Generally, a good inch to 2 inches around the whole card is enough. This will draw our attention into the card. I'll first put the main copy, which is number 1, on a slant using the Chicago style alphabet. We'll put Kodiak up on top and a small, quick, horizontal style. The price is part of the number 1 importance. That has to be fairly large. The secondary copy, which is while supply lasts, can be done on the bottom in a quick upper and lowercase script. Now we'll go over to the card and draw our sketch full size. I used 1/2 inch equals a foot on my sketch. Some side markers, about 1 inch to 2 inches in. I started drawing my main copy. Remember, this can be done fairly quickly because this is a knockout card. You can almost put your boxing gloves on and get this done real fast. I'm using a soft layout pencil. I'm going to put some small secondary copy on the bottom in upper and lowercase script. This usually goes by real quick, and it's easy to do. The brand name can be put on top in a horizontal, uppercase speed letter. Remember now, this card has to be done fast. It's a knockout. The client owns a discount store. He doesn't want to spend a lot of money on this card. I'm using a 601 crescent white cardboard. The color I've just mixed up is number 59 Sign Cerise, Richard Showcard color. Powdering my brush, holding it between my thumb and my first finger, I'm going to whip that word flannel on. Single stroke. Notice how I'm holding the brush. This brush is a number 8, 65S line nickel. I'm going to press a little bit harder for the word shirts. Notice when I get to the bottom and make my serif, I'm turning the brush to the left. I usually palette my brush after every letter to get a fresh flow out of my brush. These signs can be a lot of fun. By using the right lettering styles and the right kind of paint and cardboard. After all, why can't we be creative on signs that have to be done this way? A sign like this can be done in about 10 to 15 minutes under normal conditions. Flannel shirts, $14.95, remember, is our main copy, our main message. This can be very, very bright. And very bold. This type of letter doesn't require a lot of cleaning up. You can pretty much do it in 1 to 2 strokes. Here I have to press a little bit lighter to make that dollar sign. Now I'm going to use the number 4 line nickel 65S series. With 93 burnt umber showcard color. Flannel shirts is already dry because rich art showcard color dries almost immediately. Again, not wasting any time, I single stroke this letter. To the manager of this discount store, the word Kodiak really doesn't mean too much to him, and he didn't really want that very big. Whoops, I think I spelled that wrong. Well, I'll fix it later with some white over and some spray fix. Oh, now the fun part. The script on the bottom. You ready? Here we go. Notice the way I'm holding the brush with 2 fingers. And I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I'm using the tip only. Normally a lot of us do not like to do knockout cards, but I find these to be a lot of fun. Here comes the Y. This part I like. It's too bad. This card's almost done. I sure wish there was more copy on this sign. I can do this all day. And there. We have the knockout card. Now, as we noticed before, I spelled Kodiak wrong. I put a C instead of a K. We're going to have to get rid of that C somehow. Here I'm going to use a soft, non-smearing block form eraser to erase my lines with. And this will not harm the Showcard color at all. Here I'm going to use a broom to sweep away the eraser. Clean as a whip. Now I'm going to use some Blair Spray Clear Fixative to seal the Showcard color so it will not bleed when I put the blocking out white on. Here I'm mixing up some white with a little bit of white, a couple touches of black, and just a little tiny touch of some yellow. And this color will match the background color of the 601 Crescent cardboard. Now we're ready to touch up. Remember now, we could try to put this on as thick as we can for the best coverage. Look at that. It's gone. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. That wasn't so hard, was it? Now we're going to use the Blair Clear Spray Fixative to seal the white. Again, using the number 4 Lang Nickel 65S series and the 93 Burnt Umber Brown, we'll fix this card up with the K. There you go, folks. It's all done. And here we have the same copy again. 3 messages. We'll break them down the same way we did the first time, with a border all the way around the card. Again, on a little sketch. It's always good to do this, especially for beginners. That way you know where you're going to put your pencil and where the paint's going to go. Kodiak could be on the top again in a very similar style as the first card. But seeing that this card is going in a suburban department store and not a discount store downtown, we can do something a little bit nicer. A little flannel script here will work good. A little bit bigger shirts, the same lettering style as the word Kodiak, so it reads the same. and a bigger price. We can use a little quick style on the bottom. Again, this is secondary copying. It doesn't really mean that much, but it has to be on the card. And it's also a lot of fun to do. Now we're ready to go onto the card. Let's review a little bit what I've done. We've sustained a border for some open space around the card. We broke our copy into 3 messages. The first message is, what is the card going to sell or explain? The second message is, how can we reach or obtain this product? And the third message is all the other secondary copy that explains in detail the first 2 messages. And here, on the word Kodiak, we're going to use a thin, quick style serif letter. And notice how I'm holding the brush. My thumb and finger, using the tip and the tip only. And I'm not turning my brush here at all. On the straight strokes, I hold the brush steady. Up on top, I turn it just a little bit towards the right. This type of letter isn't as much fun as the upper and lowercase scripts were, but in a store that has to look a little bit nicer, a nice thin-faced letter really does the job. And again, it doesn't take that much longer to do a letter like this. This card is a 660 Oriental Yellow. I'm using a 91 brown spectrum. Now for the fun part. I'm going to mix up a little 75 blue-green and put the word flannel on there in a nice script. Loading my brush up and holding on a 45-degree angle. Oops, a little dry brush there. That's okay. Adds a little character to the letter. Notice I'm holding the brush on a 45-degree angle for this script. Again, with my 2 fingers using the tip. We have to be careful here because there's 2 ends in a row. Notice I staggered the strokes, one a little higher and one a little lower. This makes it to read a little bit easier. The Rich Art poster temper colors are great. They're available at sign and art supply stores across the country. I have noticed that some companies do not carry all the colors or sizes and jars in stock. But if you ask them, they will usually order them for you. Here you have to be a little bit careful not to get your fingers in the wet paint. Now I'm going to use a little bit heavier stroke with the size 6 65S series line nickel brush. Again, turning the brush for the serifs a little bit to the right on a 45-degree angle. This letter can be easily read from a distance or close up. We have to remember that doing a show card has to be fun. I certainly wouldn't want to use a lot of typefaces on a card like this. For those of you who are interested in what this lettering style is called, it's called Uppercase New City. Notice how I use the tip of that brush. The more you press, the heavier stroke you get. See how I round those corners off? That's to give it a soft look, so the edges don't look so super clean. It's more of a hand-done appearance. Did you hear that, all you sign machines? I'm sorry, but I had to get out a small brush to do the $sign on this card. A number 2, line nickel 65S, did the trick. Well, now it's time to have some fun. We're going to get that old 75 blue-green out again and let it fly. These lettering styles are my favorites. Notice I'm holding the brush on a 45-degree angle again, using the tip. I'm blobbing the paint just a little bit on the top. Using the side of the brush for my horizontal strokes. This is my favorite letter. Watch this. It's all done on the tip. Very little pressure. I'll tell you, this Richard Showcard color is the greatest. Here comes another fun letter. One more word and this card will be done. I can control the brush real well by using those two fingers, applying very little pressure, letting the brush do the work. There it is. Now I have to put some borders on to finish this one off. Turn the card on its side with a 3-foot yardstick, mixing a little more water in my paint. Using the tip of my brush on its side, pulling a pinstripe around the whole card. I wish I could do this on the side of a car. Nothing to it. Always working from left to right. Here we go, the final stroke. And this is our show card. Now again, project number 3, the same show card, the same 3 messages, but this is going to be a display card. This is going to go downtown in some fancy men's store. Again, putting the border on, all the way around the card, inch to 2 inches in, maybe a little bit more on the top and bottom like before. You're going to put a cutout panel on this sign. Put the brand name on top, in the logo style. Remember, this man's going to pay a little bit more for this card. It's going to take a little more time to do, too. Here I think I'll use some crescent texture paper. Maybe rip the edges a little bit. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Here we'll use a 648 crescent black cardboard for a background. We'll put the word flannel shirts in a nice script, real light face. I always have a tendency of using the script on words like that. They're a lot of fun. Shirts we use in a nice stylized, thick and thin Roman letter, uppercase. I have to keep in mind now, this is going downtown. It's got to look good. Now, while supply lasts, downtown people really aren't going to matter and really care how much supply they have. So I think I'll put that on there very, very tiny underneath the word shirts. Put a border on. And a nice maroon on the black car. It'll look sharp. There's our rough layout. Now, here's the card almost done. Here I'm going to adhere the textured crescent paper to the cardboard. Take a little 77 spray glue and spray a little bit on the black cardboard. In the center. And then I'm going to spray the back of the textured paper. And I make sure I go all the way around the edges and in the center. Whoops, got some on my finger. And now we're ready to dry it off a little bit. This works good in the summertime to keep you cool. Now we can adhere it to the cardboard. Here we go. She's all ready to be put in the window. Now I'm going to show you how to tear the edges of the paper. Using a straight edge and pulling up and back, up and back, up against the straight edge, it forms a rough tear. Again, repeating the same. Against, up and back, up and back. This paper tears really, really well for rough texture. Make sure you apply a lot of pressure on your straight edge. One more time. This paper is really fun to letter on. It has a pebble texture to it. It's great for doing dry brush. Here they are. Project number 1, project number 2, project number 3. The display card for downtown at a fancy men's store. The regular show card for suburbia. And here it is, that old knockout. That worked great at that discount store. 15 minutes to do the whole card. There's that script on the bottom. Love it. Project number 2 was a little bit stiffer. Kodiak and shirts and the price, same lettering style. While supply lasts, well, that was the fun one. I always enjoy doing that. Here's the border, done with the edge of the brush and a 3-foot yardstick. Well, this one here has the logo, price, and shirts, and a real quick script for contrast, and the cutout, and a little tiny while supply lasts. For that great downtown look. What would you have done with this same project? The type of poster board you use can make all the difference in the world. I am lettering on a 657 maroon card. All my show card work during this video and in my shop is done on Crescent 14-ply quality cardboard. As you can see, they are available in a wide range of colors, 47 in all. Lettering on Crescent cardboard is a real smooth experience. These high-quality clay-coated surfaces are bleed and fade resistant, intended for use with tempera or acrylic paints, pen and ink, airbrush, silkscreen, etc. Lettering on Crescent cardboard is always a pleasure experience. Here we have a variety of the fine line of Crescent colors. As you can see, the paint soaks right into the cardboard. For perfect coverage. These cards are available in 28 by 44 and 22 by 28 sizes. Crescent, quality cardboard. In closing, I hope this videotape will help you create practical show cards.